There's a certain kind of pain that comes with being misunderstood. Not because you're trying to be difficult, but because your mind and body are in chaos. And no one else can feel that storm the way you do. Last week, I had a manic episode. And even after all these years, even after all the times I've tried to explain it, teach it, show it, my husband just didn't know what to do. And that broke something in me for a moment. Mania isn't a choice. It's not being dramatic or out of control. It is losing control. It's watching yourself from the outside, saying things, feeling things, doing things you can't stop, and wishing someone could just hold you through it instead of trying to fix it. And when someone says, "What can I do to help?" the truth is, I don't know. I can't even think clearly enough to answer that question. Sometimes I just need them to stay, to sit with me, to remind me that I'm still loved when I can't love myself. This is what being misunderstood feels like. And this right here is why I became a patient advocate. Because I've lived it. I've been the person no one knew how to help. I've been the one who was misdiagnosed, dismissed, and unseen. I've felt the isolation that comes when people only see the behavior, not the illness. So today I want to talk about what it really means to stand with someone through their storm. To be the advocate, the voice, the presence someone desperately needs when they can't speak for themselves. When people see someone in a manic episode, they often only see the surface. The racing words, the scattered thoughts, the impulsive actions. What they don't see is the panic underneath. They don't see how exhausting it is to feel like your brain is sprinting a marathon while your heart is begging for rest. They don't see how trapped you feel inside a body that won't slow down. For me, mania feels like being hijacked by my own mind, like someone else has taken the wheel, and I'm just along for the ride, watching it all happen. It's terrifying. And yet to others, it can look like I'm just being moody, or difficult, or overreacting. That's what misunderstanding does. It erases the truth behind what's really happening. It replaces compassion with confusion. It replaces empathy with fear. And when that happens over and over again, it leaves scars you can't see. When you live with something like bipolar disorder, you begin to anticipate being misunderstood before it even happens. You learn to brace yourself for it. The looks, the distance, the way people go quiet because they don't know what to say. You start rehearsing explanations you'll never get to finish. You start apologizing for simply existing in a state you can't control. It's like living in two worlds. The one inside your head that's racing, spinning, and breaking apart. And the one outside that expects you to hold it together and smile. People don't realize that sometimes the strongest thing we do is simply survive the misunderstanding. To live through the moment when no one seems to get you and still believe that you're worthy of love, even when you don't feel like it. When you live with something people don't understand, you start to internalize that misunderstanding. You start believing maybe you are too much. Maybe you are broken. Maybe it really is your fault. And that's the danger. That's what misunderstanding does. It isolates you in your pain. It tells you that you're unworthy of help because you don't even know how to ask for it. When my husband looked at me during that episode last week, helpless, unsure what to do, it wasn't that he didn't care. He just didn't understand what I needed. And I didn't know how to tell him. Because in those moments, logic leaves, language leaves, and all that's left is the storm. You can love someone more than anything and still not understand what's happening to them. And that's one of the hardest truths to accept for both sides. When I'm manic, it's like my brain is lit up with 1,000 fireflies all moving at once. There's no silence, no stillness. My thoughts crash into each other faster than I can speak. My body feels like it's been plugged into an outlet that I can't unplug from. And even when I know I'm spiraling, I can't slow it down. I can't just calm down. I can't think about something else. I wish I could. I wish people knew how desperate I am in those moments to stop the chaos. But I can't. And that's what people miss. They think mania is fun, that it's energy and creativity and light, but it's not. It's a storm that burns everything in its path. And when the storm passes, when the dust finally settles, what's left behind is guilt, regret, exhaustion, the painful replay of what you said or did, knowing it wasn't truly you, but also knowing you still have to clean up the pieces. That's the cost of being misunderstood. It's the weight you carry after the world has watched you unravel without realizing how hard you fought to keep it together. People always ask, what should I do when someone I love is in a crisis? And how can I help? The truth is simple but powerful. Just be there. Just be there. You don't have to fix it. You don't have to have the right words. You just have to stay. Just be there. Sit beside them. Hold their hand. say to them, "You are safe. I'm here, and you are not alone." Sometimes the best thing you can do is anchor someone with your presence. Because when everything inside feels chaotic and out of control, knowing that someone is still there, that they haven't run away, that they still see you, that can be enough to pull you through your darkest moments. And that's what advocacy looks like at home. It's not just policy or programs or awareness. It's the everyday moments when someone chooses to stay. It's saying, "I may not understand what's happening, but I'm not going anywhere." It's being the steady heartbeat in the middle of someone else's storm. It's understanding that sometimes silence speaks louder than solutions. And it's realizing that love doesn't always need words. It needs presence. I became an advocate because I've been there over and over again. I've been misdiagnosed, brushed off, and told it's just stress, or you'll be fine. I know the pain of being misunderstood by doctors, by family, by the system itself. And I promised myself that if I ever made it through, if I ever found the right diagnosis, the right treatment, the right understanding, I would stand up for everyone who is still searching. So that is what I do now. I advocate for the patients who are still unheard, for the ones who can't find the words to explain what's happening to them, for the ones who feel like no one believes them. Because every patient deserves to be heard, and every voice matters. Every story deserves space. And advocacy doesn't always mean standing on a stage or speaking into a microphone. Sometimes it means standing quietly beside someone in the hospital, reminding them they have a voice. Sometimes it means helping them find the courage to ask for help. Sometimes it means simply telling them, "You matter." We need more people willing to stand in that gap, to be the bridge between misunderstanding and compassion, to say, "I may not know exactly what you're going through, but I believe you." That is where healing begins. That is where hope starts to grow again. If you're listening right now and you've ever felt misunderstood, I want you to know this. You are not the problem. Your feelings are valid. Your struggle is real. And there is still hope in your chaos. To those who love someone living with mental illness, please don't give up on them when you don't understand them. You don't have to have the perfect words. You just have to stay. To be the calm in their storm. To remind them they are not alone in it. Because the cost of being misunderstood can be heavy. But being understood, even by one person, can change everything. And maybe that one person starts with you. And as always, remember, you are not alone in this chaos. There is always hope in the chaos. If this podcast resonates with you, if it helps you feel a little more understood or a little less alone, please consider supporting it. I pour everything into these episodes, my time, my heart, and my truth. And your support truly keeps it going. You can make a one-time donation or become a monthly supporter on Ko-fi. Every dollar helps cover production costs, support future episodes, and allows me to continue creating and showing up with honesty and heart. Here's the link: ko-fi.com/I am hope in the chaos. That is ko-fi.com/I am hope in the chaos. You're not just supporting a podcast, you're supporting a lifeline for me and for others who need to hear these words. I am not a licensed therapist, medical provider, or mental health professional. The experiences, stories, and insights shared in this podcast are based solely on my own personal journey and lived experiences. This content is intended only for educational, inspirational, and support purposes. It is not a substitute for professional medical or mental health advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Always seek the advice of a licensed mental health professional or healthcare provider regarding your mental health or medical conditions. If you are in crisis or experiencing an emergency, please contact emergency services immediately by calling 911 or reach out to the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline by calling 988. You are not alone. You never were, and you never have to be. And remember, there is hope in the chaos.